These railway workers striking claim to be on the side of working people, but they're not. They're on the side of evil. In fact, they're run by a rich trot who looks like a Bond villain, frankly. He's on at least 124k a year. Many of the people he's telling you to go on strike earn more than 50k a year as well. Their working conditions aren't particularly bad at all, actually, and I'm sorry, but many people at the lower end of the pay scale working on the trains don't have a particularly skilled job and don't deserve an 11% pay rise. But anyway, here's what the railway's equivalent of Lord Voldemort had to say earlier.
I understand when you disrupt the railway service because of strike action, people get angry and frustrated by that. We also get hundreds and thousands of messages of working people, including railway travellers and passengers, who support what we're doing. Because like us, and like my members, they are subject to a pay freeze. And if you're a public sector worker, you've not had a proper pay increment since Cameron and Osborne were elected 12 years ago, and have been clamping down on wages and conditions ever since. So, you know, we understand frustration. Our members don't want to be losing their money during strike action, and they would prefer it if we could get a deal. That's what we're pursuing.
Well, he claims to be on ordinary working class people's side. He claims to be one himself, actually, but frankly, he's bang out of touch. I went to speak to some ordinary working class people earlier and hear what they had to say about the fact that this baldy trot has tried to cripple the country. To drive a tube, how much do you think they earn? Roughly?
Roughly. It's difficult for me, honestly.
60,000?
Oh, that's a lot of money, you know.
So would you strike for 60 grand?
No.
No, obviously not. Now, he's not really on the side of the common people, is he? I reckon that basically, if Mick Lynch's mum, for example, had needed a hip replacement this week, there wouldn't be a strike, would there? But many people don't have that luxury. Here are two intensive care nurses that I spoke to earlier. I think people's healthcare might have suffered as a result of that.
I mean, our consultants were sleeping over in the hospital so they could be here today.
We all left much earlier than we would have.
We've all been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It's utterly shameful. Our economy, still recovering from the UK's pandemic nightmare, is set to lose billions if their selfish strikes go ahead on Thursday and Saturday as well, which they obviously will, won't they? So the hospitality sector stands to lose £540 million alone. This lot are so on the side of the working man and woman that they even picket agency staff from getting into work. So apart from the fact that it's called something that Mick Lynch hasn't factored in, a picket only works if your staff are dedicated, and his are clearly not. How do I know this? Well, I turned up at Paddington Station earlier to report on these picket lines. It turns out they'd all left by 2 p.m, although I could see plenty of them in the pub. Perhaps it's that kind of work ethic that means that so many trains are late. The stops on those trains are understocked, and our railway service is an absolute shambles. Honestly, the rail unions going on strike is like Harry Maguire refusing to play in central defence, OK? I'll come out and say it. I'll just come out and say it. Many people in the rail industry are already grossly overpaid for what they do. Mick Lynch is simply trying to whip up a class war that, frankly, doesn't exist. It's student union politics being played out by a pound shop Arthur Scargill, who probably still can't get his head around the fact that I reckon that the vast majority of his own members probably voted Tory at the last election.